It's the late night, all night news. News during the night for the late night viewer.
Well, welcome to the news. And I'm Ted Newman this morning.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Simone Templar, co-anchor.
And I'm Ed Falsetto, co-anchor.
It's 1:34 and time for the news at this moment. 4 alleged assassins were taken into custody today after attempting to take the life of Freddie Heineken, owner of the Heineken Beer Company. Corporation. Company. Although Heineken escaped without injuries, police were still baffled as to the strange spherical weapon used by the killers. Said Constable Angus Gribley, "I haven't seen anything like this since the terrible days before my wife left me." Little Mickey Sharples, 12 years old and ringleader of the gang, had this to say.
But we were just playing baseball, and he did it. What? No, he did.
Heineken, commenting on the event, said, "I understand the revenge motive here, but why always me?" And now to Simone with another late-breaking outburst.
Well, thank you, Ted. Someone once said that no news is good news. Well, a new government study has shown absolutely nothing of significance about American society. Now we'll flip it over to Ed with the news.
Thank you, Simone. An update just been handed to me of some obvious importance. Sally Fine, a 4th grader at the Donny Osmond Mormon Daycare Center, received a personal letter from Soviet Premier Yuri Andropov asking her to, and I quote, "Come and bring all your friends to live a happy life with me in Kremlinland. Communism is fun, like a barrel of monkeys." And it was signed, Furry Uncle Yuri, the Happy Russian Clown. Enclosed in the letter was a picture of the Soviet premier in a clown face and big red nose smiling broadly. Needless to say, Mr. and Mrs. Fine turned the document over immediately to the State Department. President Reagan told press this morning that he would call Russia tomorrow and ask them about it. Ted?
Thanks, Ed. Coming up on Late Night tonight, Ed Falsetto has an interview with Winky Slinky, creator and executive vice president of the Slinky Empire, who has a story on the heyday of this famed children's toy and its downfall. That's coming up on Late Night.
Late night, all night news will continue.
We're back on this Wednesday morning talking live in the studio with the creator and founder of the Slinky Corporation, Mr. Wink Slinky. Welcome, Mr. Slinky.
Thank you. Good to be here, although I must admit it's way past my bedtime.
That name, it's rather unusual.
Oh, yes. As far as I can tell, only myself and the charming and erudite game show host, Wink Martindale, share this curse name.
I see. So, the Slinky.
Yeah?
Why don't you tell us about it?
Oh, okay. Well, it all started back in the late 50s. I was a research scientist for Project Mercury. This was during the early developmental stages of the project when we were working on a giant space spring. Now, the theory behind this was to literally propel a man into space using the giant space spring.
Fascinating.
Yes. But then one day, they decided to abandon the spring idea and go with the rocket propulsion system. I was crushed. I spent the best years of my life on this project. I was dedicated to being part of the team to spring a man on the moon by the end of the decade. Well, anyway, later that night, me and a couple of the boys from the team were at my house getting a little,
Drooly?
No, more,
Oh, drunk.
Yeah, yes, we were pretty wasted, 4 sheets to the wind, as it were. And, well, this one guy was just sitting around talking to people that weren't even there. I haven't seen him in a while. Oh, but that's another story. You'll have to have me back on another night for that one. Anyway. Wow! I had hundreds of these spring models at my house, and, well, one thing led to another, and we started rolling them down the stairs. But we noticed, I noticed anyway, that the springs weren't actually rolling down the stairs. They were more like walking down the stairs, you know?
And so that was the creation of the Slinky.
No, I was pretty wasted at the time, like I said, and I really didn't know what I had. But a couple of years later, my kids were playing with a spring he got out of a box, see? And, one thing led to another, and I decided to try to market the thing. I've been unemployed for a few years, and I thought, what the heck, I got nothing to lose.
And indeed, that was the beginning of the Slinky. From there on, the Slinky became the most popular toy in the 60s. The phrase, a Slinky, for fun it's a wonderful toy, a Slinky, fun for a girl and a boy, became the catchphrase for an era. But with the advent of the microchip, home computer games, and even the Frisbee, the reign of the Slinky came to a screeching halt. But not to an end. Right, Mr. Slinky? Mr. Slinky? Mr. Slinky?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm really tired. I didn't get much sleep last night. It's really late. I'm sorry. Where were we?
We were just talking about the end of the Slinky.
Oh, boy, I'll say I couldn't give those things away. Yeah, I tried everything. I tried to pass them off as planners and leg warmers, everything. Ah, jeez. You know, I got to pay taxes on those things. I got a whole warehouse full of them. Right.
So, is there anything in the projected future for the Slinky Corporation?
Oh, yeah. I plan to approach NASA about a Slinky-launched space shuttle.
Well, very good, then. Well, that's all the time we have for here. Back to the newsroom and more news. Thank you, Ed. Over to you, Ted.
Right. It's, gosh golly gimbleweed, 331. Over to you, Simone.
I think it was the great General George S. Patton who once said, lead, follow, or get the heck out of the way. Words for each of us to live by. With this in mind, we bring you John Elton, somewhere in the heartland of America.
Well, it's kind of discouraging being out here for 16 years, Simone, because, you know, I really haven't had a good story yet out here in the middle of nowhere. I mean, look at these snowplows, huh? Is this what you want to see? And look at this shot here. A man, he's shoveling snow. Oh, and here's the biggie. A cop in a tow truck driving at the same time on the same road. This is news on the march, let me tell you. And I got some news for you, Simone. I quit. Yeah, that's right, I'm out of here. I'm off to Washington. That's where the news is. Scandals and riots and Republicans. No more stupid peaches or birds or irrigation. So long, late night. This is John Elton signing off.
Well, thank you, John. I'm sorry you feel that way. I think it was the Beatles who once said, you know, it's been a hard day's night. I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night. I should be sleeping like a log. One man who surely feels this way is our own man on the street, Larry the Robot, with this report.
Thank you, Simone, but that's Throwbutt. Larry Throwbutt. As you can see, there's not really a whole lot going on tonight, except it is very cold. I'm wearing about 6 pairs of underwear, and the wind's zipping right through me, if you know what I mean. I don't really know how to express how terribly cold it is, except to say that I am no longer feeling the cold. I am the cold. That is to say, I am one with the cold. Like, just look at his hand. I've given up even trying to stop shaking. And my face, it's frozen solid. I am cold. It is amazing how cold it is.
Well, that's all well and good, Larry, but why don't you tell us about the poll you've been taking?
I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. We've been talking to people tonight about President Reagan's stand on paid Medicare abortions. Here comes a young woman right now. Excuse me, madam. Good evening.
Hi.
May I ask your name?
My name? Chiffon. What's yours, baby?
Me? I'm Larry the Robot.
The robot? I met me a Kenny the android once, but I never met me a robot.
No. That's Throwbutt.
You know, you're kind of cute. Why don't you let Chiffon take you someplace nice and warm out of the cold?
That's very ironic you should bring that up, because I was just telling the people in the studio that it is very cold out tonight, and your offer seems very tempting to me, but as you can see, I'm working right now, and
how about an hour, huh?
An hour?
Yeah.
Perhaps. Maybe. Yes, an hour. Here come 2 more gentlemen right now. Excuse me, sirs. Can I ask you about President Reagan's stand on...
You should not be on the streets this time of night, man. There's a lot of dangerous types out here this time of night. You know that, man?
Yeah,
you know, you probably keep your wallet right here, don't you, man? Someone can just reach in there. That baby is gone, man.
But that's
hey, that's a pretty nice jacket you got there, man. I better keep you nice and warm out here in this cold, huh, man?
Not really,
because it's very hot, man. Hey, man, what's that you got in your mouth? Is that a gold tooth, man? Hey, look at that.
I got his knife, man.
Thank you, Larry. We'll return with that straw poll later on tonight. But first, a report from Fred Zipperl in war-torn Hebron.
Thank you, Ted. Reporting from Hebron. Here I am. My day began in Hebron, at the steps of Hebron. Bombed by bombs. Yeah, this happens every day in Hebron. Here's a street in Hebron, wounded by bullets. Here's some soldiers. And you know, this is what Hebron's famous for. It's the largest vacation spot for soldiers. Here they are getting ready for a long day in the streets of Hebron. And here's the landscape. Beautiful, huh? It's the ruins. This is what the soldiers have done to it over the centuries. And here's a temple where the soldiers pray at night. Yeah, Hebron. Hebron, Hebron, Hebron. Hey, Ted, can I stay another week?
When we return to Overnight, we'll have two senators who will be debating an important topic. Stay with us.
Late night will continue after this.
We're back, and with me here live in the studio now is Senator F.P. Moderate Conservative of Idaho, and Senator Harold Senator of the land of fine food. Gentlemen, recently the issue has been raised by many indignant Republicans and quite a few lobbyists that Richard Dawson, that charming and erudite game show host and luncheon speaker, has actually greatly favored the right side of the Family Feud set as opposed to the left. And gentlemen, I must ask you, is this accusation a valid one?
Certainly not, Ted. Knowing Mr. Dawson, I can personally vouch for his character. And on top of that, a recent Senate subcommittee was looking into Mr. Dawson. They found absolutely nothing of significance.
Oh, come on, sir. Have you ever seen The Feud? Dawson favors the right side like it was his own blood. And you want to vouch for his character, I'll vouch for his character. He has as much character as a slimy, icky snake.
Excuse me, gentlemen, but it's now time to allow callers to call in to ask you questions. First caller, please.
Yeah, Ted. I was just wondering, what time is it, huh?
It's now 10:30. It's about 3:37 live in the studio. Next caller, please.
Yeah, Senator Conservative. Whatever happened to Beaver and Leave It to Beaver? Did he die in Vietnam or what?
Well,
Excuse me, Senator, but we're running out of time and these calls are too silly. Back to the studio. Right. Simone?
A stitch in time saves 9. No words could be more apt for Lulabelle Polecat, who turned 115 today. She attributes her great age to, of all things, sewing. Yeah, a stitch in time saves 9 for me, Sonny. That's for sure. What? She told reporters today in the home she plans to die in.
Well, it's 4:87, and now to recap the news. 4 little kids tried to kill Thomas Heineken with a baseball. A new 5-year study has shown absolutely nothing about American baseball. And the Soviets are attempting to lure America's youth with pictures of happy clowns and furry communists. That's all in the news for this evening as the night draws to a close and the morning draws to a beginning. Any last remarks before we sign off?
Yes, there are, Ted. I would just like to say that though the going has been tough, just to see one tiny face lit up because of it makes it all worthwhile. I think Sir Arthur Conan Doyle said it best when he said, "They who babble practice not reflection, for I shall think, and thought is silence." After all, what are we?
This has been the Late Night All Night News.
Just tiny
Stay tuned
ants
for the early morning all morning news. Shut up, Simone.